Hi, it's Greg Kavanaugh here with the Gallup Journey magazine again. Today we're looking at the 2012 Toyota Camry Hybrid. Now I point to the front here because when you drive the Hybrid you get a special blue Toyota badge. I'm going to start you off on this review here in a little different spot than normal with the window sticker, because this is two things that people are usually looking for when they're shopping a hybrid. Firstly, fuel economy. 43 city, 39 highway. Those are some pretty big improvements from the previous generation Camry Hybrid. What's interesting is as those have gone up, something else has come down, in this case, the price. Toyota has worked to bring their Camry down from kind of one of their higher end models more to the middle of their range. Interestingly enough, I drove the LE, which could really be considered the base car. That one was rated at $25,35 for fuel economy and was $24,000 with really no options. This one is essentially the same car but the hybrid model and is only $2,000 more. Just under $26,000 as tested, just under $27,000. Really, $2,000 to upgrade to the hybrid and increase your fuel economy pretty significantly is, I consider, a pretty good bargain. On top of that, the Toyota Prius base model, $24,000. So again, it's about $2,000 more to have a very fuel efficient mid-size car, which I might point out also tops the Ford Fusion now in terms of numbers. I'm just going to walk you through the styling here. You can see that exterior styling here on the 2012 Camry looks better. It's been sharpened up, it's been refreshed, but really it's definitely an evolution of the previous and all previous Camrys, really. It looks good, but it's not going to offend anybody, and it's not really going to stick out too much either. The SE, which is the more sporty model you can get with you know, some sportier trim and stuff, that looks pretty sharp. But as you can see, evolutionary, definitely not revolutionary. Toyota's using the same engine as the LE, which is a 2.5 liter four-cylinder, and that car makes 178 horsepower. Atkinson cycle here, a little bit of retuning, brings it to 156 here in the hybrid. Same for the torque, 156. Paired with the electric motors and battery, I think they say the combined output here is 200 horsepower. Frankly, this is more than enough power for what people need. In fact, that electric motor power down low, that torque, is kind of addictive. Especially when you have the eco mode off, the Camry really pulls from the start, especially in that kind of, you know, start to 20 mile an hour. Just boom, it's there instantly. There's no noise. It just kind of gets up and goes. Interestingly enough, when you have that eco mode on, there's more regen from the brakes, and it definitely sounds kind of like a Jetsons mobile. As you're coming to a stop sign, it kind of winds down, and it's trying to get all that energy back into the battery that it can. 2012 Hybrid has had the battery repackaged. Now it sits up here, and what that's done is create a much more traditional and larger trunk. As you can see, this is, by most mid-car standards, fully acceptable full-size trunk. Battery here as well for jump starting and easy access. And then because of that packaging, you're still able to have under here your spare tire as well as your tools. What this does eliminate, though, just as in the Fusion Hybrid, is it gets rid of your pass-through to be able to fold the seats down. All right, some key features here of the Hybrid. First of all, comes with the smart key, which is really nice. Have it in here. Just hit the button to start. Okay. The Camry is now using these two buttons here. I don't know if you can see them or not. The EV button and the Eco Mode button. Let me tell you a little bit about those. The Prius had those as well. I talked about them in that review. The EV mode is kind of a farce. It's a temporary lockout that keeps it in electric only. However, the battery in this is pretty small. You go over 15 miles an hour, this is going to say excessive speed. If you push the gas just slightly too hard, it's going to say excessive acceleration, and it's going to get out of EV mode. I don't really know what it's for. I think it's for creeping along in traffic or something like that. Eco mode is the default setting for throttle response, all of those things, regen, all of that. And you can turn it off to gives you a little bit more power, a little bit more You can get into the throttle a little more easily, but of course affects your fuel economy. Interestingly, the hybrid and regular Camrys, non-hybrids, get this gauge on the side you can see here. Okay, kind of looks like a tachometer, but it's actually showing fuel economy, average fuel economy at this point. You know, you can usually find that in one of your screens, your information screens on most cars these days. What Toyota decided to do was put it in an actual gauge to kind of force you to look at it more frequently and think about how you're driving. Not necessarily a gimmick, but also just kind of takes up space too. You get the nice little screen here, which can help you better understand how your power is being made with the battery engine combos. You can go through different displays, show you different things, cruising range, you know, all that kind of typical kind of stuff. And that kind of walks it through. The hybrid gets this kind of special trim, kind of slate looking, brushed metal looking, pretty sharp. Stitched leather, I don't know if you can see that. Hand stitched, I'm told. Pretty sharp as well. Overall, nice interior, really. You can't really complain about a Camry too much. One thing I do want to note, I drove an LE, which is kind of a base car almost. It had a touchscreen infotainment system, which I thought worked quite well. I got here in the hybrid, and here's this old kind of monochromatic dot matrixy display, and I couldn't quite figure out what's going on. I was told perhaps the hybrid was kind of pushed to market a little bit sooner, and maybe that's why it's using this radio, or maybe they're trying to save some bucks to keep the price down. As always, I pointed out as well, Toyota uses these cartoonishly large buttons, excuse me. The fact of the matter is they work great and they function well, and I'm sure that's why they do it. But you can see they just kind of, I don't know, they don't look particularly great in my opinion, but they work great, and that's typically the Toyota mantra, and you can't argue with that in many respects. The wrap up here is pretty straightforward. This is a Camry. It does everything you expect it to, a little bit of what you want it to, enthusiastically speaking, and lastly, not much more beyond that. But because it's the hybrid, you're getting great fuel economy for really a great price. As an LE, you're getting most of what you need wrapped into this package. You know, it does have wheel covers, but other than that, you know, it's got power windows, it's got power locks, it's got the smart key, it's got cruise control, it's got all those things, it's got the special interior. Really, you're getting a lot of car for your money. Being a Camry, you know, it sets itself apart by not setting itself apart. It's not a Prius, look, I drive a hybrid. It's just, there's a couple badges, you get the blue on the front. Other than that, it appears to be a standard Camry. If that's what you're looking for, this car is exactly what you need. And I think Toyota's made a great car here at a great price. Thanks for watching.